Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world full of dating apps, relationship advice columns, and social media quotes about love. Yet for all the talk, for all the memes and motivational posts, there's one truth we rarely admit. What we really want in a partner often goes unspoken. We say we want someone loyal, kind, funny, beautiful, successful. Those are the headlines, but beneath those safe, socially acceptable answers are deeper needs we often don't express. Sometimes because we're afraid to, and sometimes because we don't even realize we're craving them. Let's start with men. Men often grow up being told to be strong. Don't cry, don't show weakness. So what happens? They often don't say it, but men want to feel emotionally safe. They want a partner who sees past the armor. They want to be able to say, I'm scared, I don't have all the answers, or I feel like I'm failing without being judged. They want admiration, not because they're perfect, but because they're trying. They want peace, not just in the relationship, but with themselves when they are with someone who truly understands them. Now let's talk about women. Women are often told to be beautiful, desirable, wanted. But what they deeply want, though they may never say it, is to be chosen, not just chased. They want someone who sees their worth beyond looks or charm. They want to feel emotionally held, not just physically touched. They want consistency over intensity, honesty over charisma, and presence over grand promises. They want to feel like they are enough without having to prove it every day. And you know what both men and women truly want, more than the Instagram, perfect romance, more than the luxurious trips, more than the dreamy dates. They want to feel safe in being themselves. They want to say something vulnerable without it being used against them later. They want to disagree without fearing abandonment. They want to laugh without pretending, cry without apology, dream without ridicule. They want someone who listens not just to respond, but to understand. They want someone who can say, I see your flaws and I'm still here. That's the kind of love that doesn't always make for dramatic stories or viral videos, but it makes for real, lasting connection. The kind that holds you on your worst days and celebrates you on your best. So the next time someone asks, what do you want in a partner? Maybe we should stop listing checkboxes. Maybe we should start saying what we're truly afraid to admit. I want someone who makes me feel seen, safe, and enough. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're all searching for. Even if we don't say it out loud, emotional safety is a silent need for both men and women. It is not something people often list when asked what they want in a relationship, but it underpins everything else. Emotional safety means being able to express yourself without fear of being judged, mocked, dismissed, or abandoned. It means knowing that your vulnerability won't be used against you later. It's about being able to show the raw, unfiltered version of yourself and still being accepted, maybe even loved more because of it. For men, emotional safety is especially complex. From a young age, they're often taught to hide their emotions. Boys are told to man up, to be tough, to not cry. As a result, many men grow into adulthood believing that expressing their true feelings is a sign of weakness. They learn to suppress sadness, fear, and even affection. But deep inside, the desire to be heard and emotionally understood never goes away. In relationships, men want to feel like they can let their guard down. They want to feel like they can be scared, unsure, or even broken without losing respect in their partner's eyes. They may never verbalize this need, but it shows in the way they connect, or sometimes disconnect, from intimacy. Women, too, seek emotional safety, but often from a different experience. Many women are encouraged to be open about their emotions, but when they are sometimes labeled as too sensitive or too much. They want to be able to express what they feel without being told they're overreacting or being irrational. Emotional safety for women means knowing their emotional world is not only valid but welcome. It means being able to say, I'm hurt, or I need more from you, and not being met with defensiveness or mockery. It's being able to open up without being seen as needy or dramatic. It's about trust, not just in the partner, but in the space between the two of them. In truth, both men and women want to feel that their emotions matter. They want to feel seen not just for what they present on the outside, but for what they carry inside. They want to feel like their fears, doubts, and imperfections won't scare someone away. Emotional safety builds the foundation for trust, connection, and long-term bonding. When it's missing, even the most passionate relationships can feel unstable and uncertain. People may stay guarded, hold back, or begin to resent one another. But when emotional safety is present, communication becomes easier, affection becomes deeper, and even conflict becomes manageable. It's not dramatic, it's not flashy, and it doesn't always make for exciting stories, but it is essential. It is often unspoken because we don't always have the language for it, or we fear it makes us seem weak, needy, or unlovable. Yet this need, quiet as it may be, is the very thing that makes love feel real, lasting, and worth trusting. Men crave admiration and peace more than perfection. This truth often goes unspoken because societal expectations rarely allow men the space to admit what truly nourishes their emotional world. From an early age, men are pushed to strive, to achieve, to perform. They are taught that their value lies in what they can provide, what they can solve, or how strong they appear. In the process, the emotional needs they carry become buried beneath the surface. But admiration, real admiration, not for being flawless, but for being present, trying, and showing up, is something deeply important. Men want to feel seen not just for their accomplishments, but for the effort behind them. They want a partner who notices when they're exhausted but still try to smile, who acknowledges the way they carry unspoken burdens, and who recognizes the value of their presence even when there are no grand gestures to show. This kind of admiration isn't about ego, it's about emotional connection. When a man feels admired, he feels respected. He feels like his effort is enough. In a world that constantly demands more from him, being with someone who appreciates him as he is can be grounding. Men may not ask for this directly because they fear appearing insecure or weak, but the desire is there, deeply rooted. They want to be someone's hero, not in a dramatic, unrealistic way, but in the quiet way that says, "You matter to me, I see what you do, and I value who you are." Alongside admiration, peace becomes a priceless need. Men may not always voice it, but emotional peace is something they seek in relationships far more than they let on. Peace doesn't mean the absence of conflict. It means the absence of chaos. It's the comfort of knowing that home is a safe space, that being with someone doesn't feel like walking on eggshells or defending every word or preparing for emotional landmines. It means emotional stability, calm presence, and a kind of quiet understanding that doesn't require constant explanations. In that space of peace, men feel recharged, they can be more open, more honest, and more available. When peace is missing, even love can feel heavy, but when it's present, everything else becomes easier to navigate. The irony is that men are often portrayed as thrill seekers, commitment, phobic, or emotionally distant, when in reality, many are just protecting their need for peace. They don't want to be in relationships that feel like battles, power struggles, or endless criticism. They want calm, they want laughter that isn't forced, they want conversations that don't feel like interrogations. They want a connection that feels like rest, not pressure. This doesn't mean they don't enjoy excitement or passion. It means that, at their core, they are drawn to relationships that allow them to breathe, to lower their defenses, and to feel that who they are, without needing to constantly prove or fix, is deeply enough. Women want to be genuinely chosen, not just desired. This distinction is subtle but profound. Being desired speaks to physical attraction, charm, chemistry, all of which can be fleeting or superficial. But being chosen speaks to depth, to emotional presence, to intentionality. It means someone sees beyond a woman's appearance, beyond how she makes them feel in a moment, and still decides to stay, grow, and build something meaningful. From a young age, many women are taught to be appealing, to be likable, to be wanted. Society places enormous value on how women look and how well they can fit into someone else's ideal. The attention that comes from being desired can feel affirming at first, but over time it can also feel hollow. It begins to feel transactional, as if their worth is measured by how well they can entertain or inspire infatuation. Desire without intention leaves a woman feeling temporary, like she's replaceable or simply the next exciting thing until something else comes along. Being chosen, on the other hand, is about commitment, not just in title, but in energy and action. It's about someone actively deciding every day to see her, to understand her, to make room for her complexity. It means valuing her voice, not just her beauty. It means standing beside her when she's not at her best, when she's tired, when she's overwhelmed, when she doesn't have the perfect words. To be chosen is to be fully accepted, even in the moments where there's no spotlight or performance. It's when someone picks her not for what she offers, but for who she is. This kind of choosing creates a bond that feels safe and enduring, something that doesn't vanish when the mood changes or challenges appear. The pain for many women comes when they realize they are constantly being desired but rarely chosen. Compliments flow easily, attention is abundant, but emotional investment is scarce. It creates confusion and self-doubt. They begin to wonder if they need to change, to do more, to be less sensitive, less opinionated, more pleasing. But what they truly want is someone who can see all of who they are, the brilliance, the messiness, the strength, the softness, and still say, I choose you not just now, but again and again. Women are not asking for perfection in a partner. They're asking for presence. They want someone who doesn't just want to have them, but wants to know them, to be curious about their thoughts, their fears, their ambitions, to ask questions and actually listen to the answers, to hold space for their evolution, not just the version they first met. Being chosen in this way brings emotional security. It removes the pressure to always impress or perform. It allows love to deepen over time because it's rooted in something real. It's not about grand romantic gestures or poetic words, though those have their place. It's about steady actions, consistency, and the kind of loyalty that is lived. Not just promised. Both seek consistency, honesty, and deep understanding. No matter how different men and women may seem on the surface, these three needs form the emotional backbone of what most people want in a relationship, even if they don't always say it out loud. Consistency is often undervalued because it lacks the drama or intensity people associate with passion. But in truth, consistency builds trust more than any romantic gesture ever could. It means showing up day after day, not only when it's convenient or exciting. It means being reliable, predictable in the best way, and emotionally available in both good times and bad. When someone is consistent, it creates a sense of emotional security. You're not left guessing what version of them you'll get each day. You're not wondering if they'll disappear when things get hard or if their affection will shift with their mood. This steadiness is what allows vulnerability to take root. It's what gives permission to be open, to be flawed, to be real. Honesty goes hand in hand with that consistency, but honesty isn't just about telling the truth when asked a direct question. It's about being transparent with intentions, feelings, and fears. It's about saying what you mean, even when it's uncomfortable. Many people avoid being fully honest in relationships out of fear. Fear of losing the other person, fear of conflict, fear of appearing weak. But true connection can't grow in the absence of truth. When someone is honest, it builds respect. Even if the truth is hard to hear, it gives both people the opportunity to address reality rather than dance around illusions. It creates an environment where both individuals can trust that what's being said reflects what's actually felt. That kind of honesty makes love sustainable. It prevents silent resentments, emotional distance, and painful miscommunications. It lets people feel safe knowing that what they see is what they get. Deep understanding is perhaps the most hidden but powerful need. People don't just want to be loved, They want to be understood. They want someone who listens not just to the words, but to the silence, someone who pays attention not just to what is said, but to how it is said. They want someone who can recognize the unspoken worries, who asks questions with care, who notices when something feels off without needing a dramatic explanation. This kind of understanding doesn't happen overnight. It requires emotional presence, patience, and a genuine desire to know the other person beneath the surface. It means accepting not just the good traits, but also the fears, insecurities, and contradictions. Deep understanding is what allows love to evolve. When people feel understood, they feel known in a way that goes beyond physical attraction or shared interests. They feel seen in their entirety, which is one of the most intimate experiences a person can have. It brings comfort, closeness, and a quiet strength to the relationship that can weather almost anything. True love is about feeling seen, safe, and enough. It goes beyond attraction, beyond shared hobbies, and even beyond romantic gestures. It lives in the emotional space where a person feels fully acknowledged for who they are without needing to perform, prove, or pretend. Feeling seen means someone looks beyond the surface and recognizes your inner world. They notice the details, the little things you think no one else sees. They catch the hesitation in your voice when you're unsure. They remember the stories that matter to you, and they pay attention not because they have to, but because they want to. Being seen in this way creates a powerful sense of belonging. It tells you that who you are is worth paying attention to, worth investing in, and worth staying for even on the days when you don't shine as brightly. Feeling safe in a relationship is often misunderstood. Safety isn't just about physical security or being protected from harm. It's about emotional safety, the assurance that you can express yourself honestly and openly without fear of being judged, rejected, or made to feel small. It means being able to share your truth, your wounds, your doubts, and still be held with gentleness and respect. Emotional safety builds the foundation for intimacy. When you feel safe, you let your guard down. You stop filtering yourself. You stop walking on eggshells. You show up fully, and that presence is what allows connection to grow deeper and more authentic over time. Without safety, even love can feel tense, confusing, or conditional. Feeling enough is the deepest layer. It touches the part of every human being that questions their worth. In a world that constantly tells people to be better, look different, achieve more, it's rare to feel truly enough as you are. True love offers a powerful contrast. It doesn't ask you to change in order to be loved. It doesn't require constant proof of value. It embraces the whole of you, the strengths, the flaws, the growth, and the uncertainty. Feeling enough doesn't mean you never want to improve or evolve. It simply means you know you are worthy of love even while you're still a work in progress. That feeling creates emotional stability. It allows people to breathe, to rest, and to stop chasing validation. It quiets the internal noise that says you have to be more or do more to be loved. Together, being seen, being safe, and being enough form the emotional truth most people quietly yearn for. It's not always articulated because it's difficult to put into words, and sometimes people are afraid of sounding weak or needy, but this kind of love, quiet, grounding, deeply accepting, is what gives relationships the strength to last. It's what turns attraction into attachment, chemistry into connection, and affection into something that can weather time, trials, and transformation.